this episode, we're going to talk about the healing power of leaving your comfort zone behind and all of the amazing possibilities that open up when you start to live and work and play just outside of the comfort zone in what I love to call the zone of trust. Hey there, I'm Lisa. I'm one of the co-founders of Rise Leadership Circle, where our mission is to expand you into owning new levels of your value, your power, and your worth so that you can become well paid and live a prosperous life. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I think we all know what the comfort zone is, and we probably have all had experiences of spending a little bit more time there than we would like. And here's the thing, I don't think the comfort zone is necessarily a terrible place to be, but there's a time and a place for it. So there is a time when we need to step back from the day-to-day. We need to let our nervous system come down, and we need to be in a space of healing. And I think the comfort zone is really great for that for a time. I think the problem comes when we get too comfortable being comfortable. And when that happens, it feels like it can be sort of a trap to get out of, because the thing is, the ship's not sinking. It's like we're in a pretty good space. It doesn't really feel so bad, and it can be hard sometimes to exchange good for great. But your higher self, your true self, the you that you came to be in this lifetime is really waiting for you to pursue your dreams. And that happens once we get outside of the comfort zone. Sometimes we can be in a space where we don't even realize that we're stuck there. It's a little sneaky because we can feel like, we're just waiting to figure something out. Or sometimes with my clients, I'll hear them say things like, I'm just not really sure how, like I'm trying to figure it out. Or we can get stuck in imposter syndrome. At the end of the day, if you sum this all up, there are limiting beliefs that are holding us back and keeping us in the safety of our comfort zone. And if we're there long enough, it starts to feel like the hamster wheel, or Groundhog's Day, where every day is starting to look the same as the day before that and the day before that. And the thing is, in order for the comfort zone to stay comfortable, we actually have to disconnect from our dreams in order to stay there. We have to kind of like dim the light on our dream and not be so plugged into it in order not to feel that sort of cognitive dissonance that happens when we're not really pursuing the things that light us up, the things that bring us joy. And so that's when we do things like we start to buffer, or we start to maybe distract ourselves some way. So just notice if any of that is happening for you, especially if you feel like you've been a bit disconnected from pursuing what you really want or getting your mission out into the world. Have you gotten a little bit too comfortable in the comfort zone? So just beyond the comfort zone, which is the place I want to invite you to start spending time in every single day, is what I call the zone of trust. So I want you to imagine right now that the comfort zone is a circle on a map, and the place you're sitting is just inside the circle. And when you look around, everything is familiar. The landscape is familiar. The people around you are familiar. It feels nice and safe and cozy. And then I want you to imagine that you look on that map just beyond the comfort zone. And this is a place where things are a little unfamiliar. It's a space that you've never traveled to before. This could be travel literally, or it could be figuratively. But when you look around at this part of the map, things are a little bit unfamiliar. You don't exactly know the way there. It's not exactly familiar. The people aren't all the same. And so there is a little bit of a feeling of fear that comes up when you're stepping into the unknown. But the thing is about this zone of trust is that it's the zone of trust because there's still safety. You can trust that you're still safe. Even though this terrain is unfamiliar, so to speak, you're still going to have a sense of safety. When we go way beyond the zone of trust, that's when we're just kind of like, BSing ourselves, or maybe the goals we're setting are something that are so far off, we don't even believe in it, and it's not something we can get there easily, right? Or maybe, if we're too far beyond the zone of trust, it's like we don't feel safe. Maybe it feels like you could risk your entire life savings and that doesn't feel good. Or, literally risking life and limb to take this bold action. I'm not talking about that. I'm really talking about that edge just beyond the comfort zone where things are unfamiliar. And so we know when we're dealing with the ego, anything that's unfamiliar, anything you haven't done before, is going to sound the alarms. It's going to sound the system like, you're in danger. And that's one of the reasons it can feel so hard to escape the comfort zone. So here's what we do. I want to help you with that today. It's so important to let your heart be your guide. We have to let our heart come back online. We have to reconnect with our dreams and maybe let ourselves be in the discomfort of realizing it's been a long time since we've started to pursue them, or we've sort of just disconnected from the pull and it's waiting for us to just simply plug back in. So what has happened for me in my life, what I've seen happen with my clients time and time again, is that as we start to get into our heart, and so I say get out of your head, get into your heart, because your heart is 500 times more powerful, more magnetic than your brain. And when we get into this space, this is the part of us that allows us to connect with our higher self. It allows us to connect with our higher guidance, and it's the space where our dreams and our visions live. So your higher self is generally always going to lead you by what lights you up. We've been talking about this for the last several videos that I've done here, because I believe it is so important. It truly is the key. We've got to listen within and discover, what is it that brings me joy? What is it that lights me up? What do I want to spend more time doing? We're healing the part of us that has hooked into a belief that in order to find success, in order to grow, we have to be on the hamster wheel. We have to be creating in this outdated paradigm of hustling no matter what, no matter how we're feeling. And instead, I want to invite you to have a radically different experience of life and business. It doesn't mean you won't take bold action. It doesn't mean you won't work hard. And actually, what I'm talking about here outside the comfort zone is getting into big action, taking those bold actions, but doing it from a place of expansion. So for me in my life, when I started to really deepen my spiritual practice and my spiritual journey, it felt really in alignment for me to begin sharing about it. But as soon as I started to do that, there was this other part of me that felt so unsafe. All these fears, all the old fears I had coming up about fitting in. I had fears about, I was afraid that people would think that I was trying to push my beliefs on them. And of course, that's never the case. What I really want to help people do is to discover their own truth, even if it looks completely different from mine, but to connect to the part of what's true for them and to act and live and work from that place. And it just felt so important for me. It felt like this was the thing that had me change my experience of business and my experience of life. And yet, initially, the thought of sharing it brought up so much fear that I felt like I was just frozen in place. But eventually, the dissonance, that cognitive dissonance, became so uncomfortable that I really had to just bust up those old patterns. And what that led me to was being more of who I truly am in all facets of my life. So I don't have to hide who I really am when it comes to my work. And if it's not in alignment for someone, that's okay. I've been able to really let that go and trust that for the people it's right for, it's right for. So I'm sharing this here to say, maybe you've had a similar experience. Maybe what your mission is, your dreams, your desires, what you're feeling called to do feels so important to you, and yet you've been stuck in a place of maybe fear around stepping into it. So I want to give you a couple of tools and tips that can really help shake things up for you. So one of the things I want to recommend is make joy a part of your business plan. Pursue what lights your heart up. So a lot of times for me, when I tune in, my inner guidance will often tell me, unplug, get out in nature, take a walk. And by doing that, what it allows me to do is to start getting those creative downloads. It's to tap back into my own creativity. It's the place where I feel inspired to take those bold actions or to just receive the guidance I need on what exactly to do. So make listening in, make it a ritual to take time out of your day, even if it's just for a few minutes while you're having coffee, to tune in, to listen to what are you being pulled towards right now? What's bringing you joy? And start to really make that a part of your daily business plan. Pursue what lights you up, explore it, even if it doesn't make sense. Because what's likely to happen is you're going to receive guidance or connections or answers. They're going to take you where you need to go. So it does require a level of trust. You know, the other thing that I recommend is shake up your patterns. If you've been stuck in the comfort zone for a while and you feel like you're not taking action or you're held back by fear, shake up the patterns in your life in other places. So this might mean you begin to move your body in another way. If you are someone who maybe you haven't been, working out for a while, you've been on a hamster wheel, begin to just move your body, just reconnect to your physical body, take a walk daily, start doing some yoga. Or maybe you're someone who goes to the gym every single day, that's a part of your life. Shake it up, do something different. Take a dance class, or, instead of the gym, get out in nature, do something different. Maybe you work out at a different time of day. Maybe you begin to nourish your body in a different way. Try new foods that bring you energy, new foods that feel aligned with who you are. You can shake up your patterns in terms of the people you connect with. Make some new connections. Get out and do something that you don't normally do. Go to some new places. Maybe book some travel if you need to. Shake up your patterns, because when we shake up our patterns, it breaks us out of the mundane, it helps us get off the hamster wheel, and that inspires us to take those bold actions. So it really does require us to have a willingness to do the thing that scares us. But here's the thing, when we're in that zone of trust, this is expansive trust. This is the part of us that feels like more of who we are. And I say that this is a healing journey because what it does is it allows you to become your true self, more of your authentic you in all areas of your life. So make those bold moves, allow it to really open you up. And be unattached from the outcome, right? Make it about just you operating in that zone of trust, taking those big actions, and just notice how that shifts you to greater levels of joy. So I really want you to practice joy as a business plan. And we know that whenever we prioritize joy in our life, this is where money follows. So most traditional business coaches are going to teach you to follow a strategy and a strategic plan and take those actions. That's all good advice. There's nothing wrong with that. However, we've discovered that we leave half of our power behind when we're really just coming from this mind logic alone. And what happens when we bring this pursuit of joy online and we back it up with those actions, and our logic can back up the joy, this is a place where we can begin to increase prosperity and abundance, and life can actually feel like it's almost magical with the connections that get to happen. This is the work that's so near and dear to our hearts, and we really want to help you step more into what this can feel like. We've created something free for you. It's called the Joy Quiz. You can download it here. I've linked it below. And what it is going to do is it's going to help you discover what your joy activators are. So once you know your joy activator, that can actually connect you to your wealth code, meaning it'll show you how to prioritize joy in your life. And we know that wealth follows joy. So there's a close connection there. The second thing I have for you today is an opportunity to jump in and spend some time with Kayla and I inside of what we're calling the Joy Challenge. So this is happening May 8th through 12th, 2023, depending on when you're listening to this video. And we're going to be live every single day for a week. We'll be popping on live for an hour. You'll have an opportunity to upgrade to a VIP room if you want to do some coaching along with us. But we're actually going to take you through this process of what is a lived experience of prioritizing joy in your life. And what does that open up in terms of abundance for you? So click the link below, take the quiz, join us for the challenge. I would love to hear if this episode was valuable for you. Please share this video, and comment. Let me know, what is one thing that you are taking away from this video today? Okay, thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.